Hello everybody, welcome to OCHD and welcome to another Jumputi Heroes predictions video. Today we are going to be predicting the upcoming event, which is the autumnal event as it was listed on the roadmap, though we do have a little bit more information than when I was talking about at last. We do actually know the sort of name of the event, the theme of the event. It's the Autumnal Chef Festival, and we know that characters from One Piece, Toriko, Shokugeki no Soma, and Hochonin Ajihei will be appearing. Hochonin Ajihei, if you are unfamiliar, is one of the series that they had slated to be added to the game at a later date, and that was during the 100 Fest. So this is the first of those series to actually get some new content. One of the other series they mentioned there was Moeru Onisan. That already has a character added to the game that was added during that event, so that doesn't really count. In this case, this is the first new character from that batch announced. So, with that said, I kind of have two things for you here. I have the boring answer, what I think is the much more likely thing to happen, and then I have the more interesting but not necessarily better predictions. That one is sort of a little bit larger, a little bit less realistic, and it's my attempt at trying to diversify the event a little bit. But let's talk about the boring answer first, because, I mean, it is just the most likely thing. The limited would be Sanji from One Piece, because we know they have a Sanji ready on a Taiwan server, the Wedding Sanji. And he counters Big Mom, but that is a special Big Mom stage that drops copies of Pudding. Logically, that would make a lot of sense, so not many changes you need to make there, though some people would argue a different version of Sanji would be nicer. They did that with Zoro. They gave us a different version of Zoro than what came out in the Taiwan version, so could happen again here, I don't know. But probably the most likely thing is this would be Vinsmoke Sanji from the Wedding, and we would get Pudding as the farmable unit. Then, with the standard gacha and transcendence and such, I mean, I think in total this event most likely has 7 characters. I'd like to say 8. I think 7 is more likely. We're coming off the back of a somewhat large event. We are expecting the Bleach event to be of decent size, and that is coming up after this one. Logically, 7 is the most likely, which means at least one series is getting shafted, and if we're, again, this is the more realistic, more boring answer, Ajihei Shiomi from Hochonin Ajihei, most likely going to be the character that gets shafted down to a Transcendent class event or points event or something of that nature, which is a shame because, I mean, that is what they did with, you know, Moeru Onisan. Only has one character in the game and it's an event unit, and it's not the only series like that, there are others. But I do kind of feel like every series should have one gacha character, even if it's just the protagonist. I think every series should have one, just because of the nature of this game. So it's a little bit disappointing if we don't get one, but there you go. I guess their argument would be who's going to pull on that, but they've definitely, listen, they have definitely in the past done these like boost gacha and stuff, where they put this character in and not only boost the drops of whatever special points event is going on, but also has these crazy skills and abilities that are a cut above the other standard gacha, and they use that to bait you into summoning for a character that you probably wouldn't have summoned for. They've definitely done that before, and they could do that again here. Assuming they did, I don't really know who he would counter, because I have so little information on this series. I do own the first volume, and I did have a quick look through. There is one person in the first volume, second volume, potentially could be an opponent, in the form of Keisuke Nakadai. He's sort of like the first mini antagonist boss for Ajihei to beat. So maybe him, if we were going to get like a Transcendent class event with Ajihei being a gacha or something like that. But realistically, I think for the more boring answer, Ajihei as some kind of Transcendent class event, something like that. Then with the rest of the event, it's a bit tricky, you know, because Toriko historically has been very underserved in this game, you know, considering how popular it is. It has very little content, and we are still missing certain characters, certain high-profile characters from the series. The one I have selected here, Koko, one of the four kings, but he's not a chef, and the event is specifically called like the Autumnal Chef Festival. I didn't just like make that up because it sounded right. It says chef, specifically chef / cook, and Koko is not one of those things. Now, if we are talking about the most likely arc, we already have the fight between two other characters from this arc, and they are Sunny and Tommyrod. So logically, from the same arc, which is sort of the end of the cooking festival, it would make sense to add Koko so we can have another one of the four kings and one of the main characters from the roster, and he can counter Grinpatch, who he fights against during that storyline. Grinpatch is a chef, but I mean it's loose, you know. I know that's what they're like, but if I was gonna choose somebody from Toriko and you told me I had to be a chef, I don't think I'd put Koko in there. So it's a bit of a weird one, but Toriko is definitely included. We know for a fact it's included. So in the more boring answer, the devs are just gonna choose a Toriko character that is popular, that is also missing. And that's probably gonna be Koko. Then from Shokugeki no Soma, Kuga Terunori to me seems like the obvious choice, simply because the arc he features most prominently in for the first time is about this time of year. It is an autumn festival, and well, I mean, I think he is quite a popular character, so why not have him as the standard gacha? I've got him countering a Transcendent Eishi Tsukasa. Arguably, Tsukasa may be deserving a little bit better, as he is quite a big character within the series of Shokugeki no Soma, but they don't really seem to care that much about this series, so give him a slightly smaller role. I think it's fine. It's fine. And that would be the event, and it's a little bit boring. And it's a little bit on the small side, and it's not really what I would want. It's what I'm kind of expecting from the devs. I honestly think that those 7 are the most likely. Maybe the Toriko choices, you might make some slight tweaks there, some slight tweaks to the Shokugeki no Soma choices, but you'd probably only change one of the characters, not both. And then that'd be about it. However, it's not what I would do. What I would do if I was in charge, right? Instead of 7 characters, we're going to go with 9. Which might be a little bit too much, but I mean, there was a time when 10 unit festivals were standard, and then you get like 11, 12 for special events, stuff like that. So 9 is not too much of an overreach, if you ask me. And we'll throw in the cheeky Legend Summon as well, because if you have a good idea for a Legend Summon, you might as well include it. So the main showdown of this event, and I based the core idea for this event off the Valentine's event. And the whole thing with the Valentine's event was every character was from a different series. There were no like direct counters from the same series. And I really like that format, so I'm going with that. So the limited I've chosen, and I don't think anyone's going to agree with me on this one, Tengu Brunch from Toriko. I know it sounds so silly because we don't even have a limited Toriko yet. We don't have Ichiryu or anyone like that could have been a limited. Ichiryu could have been a Muso or something. There's so many characters missing from the Toriko roster. So for them to just come straight in with a Tengu limited seems so unlikely. I called it Tengu, a brunch limited. It seems so unlikely. But listen, I want it, and I think it'd be more interesting, so I'm sticking with it. And he would counter a free version of Sanji. Again, somewhat unlikely, but hear me out. They have been going through and adding free versions of certain characters. We probably will get a limited Sanji at some point. There are definitely opportunities for us to get like Osoba Mask Sanji or something from a bit later in Onigashima. There's some stuff going on right now in the manga. You know, there's options for him to get a limited later. This would be an opportunity to add a pre-time skip version of Sanji. I've just called it In Search of All Blue, but, you know, just Sanji from before we went to the Grand Line. Possibly from when he's still on Zeph's ship, like his very first introduction. And I would like to see that Sanji as a catastrophe stage. And then we could have Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji all available as free-to-play 99 luck leaders, which I think would be awesome. Some people may disagree. Some people might want to see Sanji as a limited. But I think, listen, One Piece is just... It shows up so often. And I know Kimetsu no Yaiba gets a lot of flack for showing up often. And admittedly, it is a much shorter series and has a lot less content to pull from than One Piece. So fair enough. But, I mean, even if you say that, One Piece, it has a new version of Trafalgar Law, a new version of Luffy, a new version of Zoro. Like, a lot of the new stuff we're getting is just new versions of characters we already had. So it's not like they're exploring those extra hundreds and hundreds of chapters and finding these super special awesome characters. Like, you might get one or two. Like, you know, Luffy had to counter somebody, Zoro had to counter somebody. It's a little bit... I don't know. I personally feel like if you're going to go with One Piece, and you're just going to do the same old thing where you add the new versions of the characters we've already got, maybe they should be free. Maybe there shouldn't be a limited every time, because it's so silly. We just had a One Piece limited in the last event. And bear in mind, One Piece not only had a feature festival this year, it also had like a mini event at the start of the year. And it showed up in countless events since then. I get it, like, you know, it's One Piece. It was a big year for One Piece. They had a lot of milestones and stuff, but for me, I get it. Sanji is a chef. He is probably the most high-profile chef in Shonen Jump. So if we're talking about a limited candidate, he probably should be the limited. But for me, a much more exciting option is a free-to-play Sanji. And then all the Sanji fans can have a 99 luck Sanji if they want it. And there could be a limited later down the line. So Tengu, brunch, countering Sanji. Unlikely, I know, but that's kind of the point. Then for the gacha, I would have still Kuga Teronori from Shokugeki no Soma, because I think he, not only is he likely, but it's not necessarily like a bad pick. You know, for all the stuff I put on the last set of picks, I don't think he's a bad pick, so stick with him. Then from Nisekoi, Hosaki Onodera. Version 2, I know it's another version 2, but Nisekoi hasn't been touched in a very long time. She's quite an important character, and her sister has 2 versions, but she doesn't. And I know Chitake doesn't have 2 versions, but I don't care about her. So, a new version of Kosaki Onodera. If you don't know how she ties to the theme, she does in fact work a patisserie, and there is even like a... I don't even know what you'd call it, because it's not really a spin-off. It's like some fantastical other storyline based in the Nisekoi universe, but also not based in that universe, where she's like a magical girl, but also still like her powers are based around patisseries and stuff. I mean, it's bizarre. It is bizarre, and the more you research it, the more bizarre it gets, and the crossovers with other series and stuff, it's crazy. But talking purely about the main storyline, she does work as a patisserie chef, so she is eligible, and kind of mixes things up a little bit. We've got a female character in the standard gacha. I think a lot of people do like Onodera, so it works. And I think those are quite desirable standard gacha units. Then, on the boost gacha, I have upgraded Ajihei Shiomi to a boost gacha character. So he'd be a standard gacha unit technically, but he'd be in the boost gacha, which means he'd probably have a better skill set, a more desirable skill set, which might make more people pull for him. And he will boost points on another event that will release another popular character. So I think that'd be cool. Then I have a few characters which, you know, I was digging deep here. There are a lot of characters that are involved in cooking in some way, involved in food in some way. And I wanted to be stricter. I wanted to purely go for characters who have a role as a chef. Whether that be, you know, just like part-time chef at a restaurant or something, or, you know, it is their only job, or just the chef aspect of their character is the most prominent part of their character as seen in the series, rather than, you know, characters that cooked something once and it was really good, or, you know, like one of the characters I was considering was Menshi from Hunter x Hunter. I ended up not adding her simply because it is very clear that she has cooking skills. She is a cooking related character. She is capable as a cook, but she's a gourmet hunter, which actually is also a thing in Toriko. And if I had the complaint that Coco is not a chef, technically Menshi's not really a chef either. So by that standard, if I wasn't putting Coco in, I really shouldn't put Menshi in. With the remaining picks, however, that did limit me quite a lot, and I had to dig deep, but I think I made some good choices. So one of them is Bianchi from Katekyo Hitman Reborn. Oh, of course, I added a Katekyo Hitman Reborn character. I'm such a fanboy, but I think she's a cool option for a Transcendent class event. She can do poison damage and stuff because she is a chef, but her whole thing is she's specifically making food to kill people. She's not making food to be enjoyed, per se. So that works for me. I've also chosen Rizu Ogata from We Never Learn. Again, oh my god, you know, of course he chooses his favourite characters again, but hear me out. She does work at an udon shop, and it is a major part of her character, and we know we're getting a new version of Kirizu, so why not have a free-to-play version of Rizu during this event? I think that works. Then I have added Tonio Trusardi from Diamond is Unbreakable because he is a chef. His stand helps him in being a chef. I've kind of, I don't know, I think he works the best as an event. Him and Bianchi work best. I would say Rizu is a bit of a delicate one because it's like, could be gacha, could just not be included at all, you know, all this stuff. But I think Tonio makes a lot of sense because he's kind of a chef, but he's not part of the main cast per se. He's just there and he cooks, and then that's sort of a storyline. And the same with Bianchi. Her cooking is a storyline in the show rather than her being a main part of the cast, and she's using that to her advantage in the same way that, say, for example, Sanji does. So I like those choices at least. And then finally, for a points event, I have put Francois from Dr. Stone, legendary chef revived from the Stone. I know at some point we're going to get Ryusui, and I do have a feeling, I mean, if you looked at that roadmap, there are a lot of ensemble events on there, or potentially a lot of ensemble events on there, and I do wonder if that means certain feature festivals that were planned got like smashed up and scattered so that we could have multiple ensembles. And seemingly that would fit with what we've seen earlier in the year, a lot of characters showing up in ensemble events that maybe would have been in a feature festival. For one reason or another, they're making a switch, and I think again this could be the case. They're making a switch, possibly Francois being taken away from a Dr. Stone feature festival, and then Ryusui, same thing, being put in some other event. So that would be good. That would be good. And finally, a legendary quest, a legend summon, and this one I've simply titled A Legendary Feast, but in terms of the name, it's a tricky one because it's actually from a crossover chapter between One Piece and Toriko, and it depicts a feast between the main cast of the Toriko characters and the main cast of the One Piece characters. Because if you're gonna do an event around chefs, and you're gonna do an event that has One Piece and Toriko, you might as well use the One Piece Toriko crossover chapter. There's no reason not to, even if it's just as a legend summon. So there you go. Could use that as an opportunity in that legendary quest to tell the story of that crossover episode, that crossover chapter, and then at the end you get the legend summon. Just my thoughts on what could be an interesting, a more I don't know, diverse, more colourful approach towards making this event. And as for the original, my more boring answer, it's just gonna happen, isn't it? It's gonna be limited Sanji. He's gonna be the wedding Sanji. It's just gonna be. I look forward to them surprising me. If they surprise me, hey, that's cool. And I know, like, they said the 4 series being included, and then I've included a bunch of other series, but there's a chance that the 4 series being included, that could be the 4 gacha characters. It could be One Piece, Toriko, Shokugeki no Soma, and Hochonin Ajihei. And then the rest could all be, like, free-to-play. Like, there could be other series free-to-play. You don't know. Like, there's options. They might have just shown those 4 as a misdirect. But probably not. Either way, that's the end of this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you're expecting to see. We're going to have a tease very, very soon. So I'll look forward to that. And I will see you all next time.